Hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Nicholas Pythagoras, and on this YouTube channel, we seek to ask the question, how does the truth manifest itself in reality, or how do human values manifest themselves in reality? And on this video, we're going to talk about the INTJ, also known as the mastermind. And it's very interesting because I myself happen to be an INTJ, and it's something that I have thought a lot about. The Oh gosh, there's so much to say. I don't even know where to begin. But I'll say this. I'll just go on a rant and then we'll find somewhere. But basically, the archetype of an INTJ is the scientist. Now, I will maintain that this is an immature view, but it's enough to get us going at the start. Now, the two characters that come to mind for being INTJ are Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory and Jimmy from Jimmy Neutron. These two people are INTJ, and they're generically scientists, but I will maintain that this is a very immature view. I will say that the INTJ has a very interesting and a very beautiful, a very breathtaking narrative that they do go on. And they're more than just the scientist, but again, it's a very immature view, and rightfully so, mainly because like the main characters in these shows are like 7, 8, 10 years old. They're meant for children, but the INTJ is so much more than the scientist. And I do maintain that they seek world domination, and they are called to do so, and they are built for that, actually. Now, the INTJ has introverted intuition, extroverted thinking, introverted feeling, and extroverted sensing. So I'll say they're all about what they want and how they feel. They're all about what other people think. Think of researchers, again, scientists. But the main thing, and the thing that's important for this lecture, is that they are very fearful. They have extroverted sensing inferiors, so they're very fearful about how other people perceive them via the five senses. They're very fearful about how they look, how they sound, how they dress, how they smell. And if, for example, if they cook something, they're very insecure about how other people perceive that cooking. If they play a musical instrument like I do, they're very insecure about how they come across, how they are perceived. They have a lot of performance anxiety. But, obviously some people get over it. But it's also one of those things that makes them happy when people perceive them in a good and think highly of them, in a good way and think highly of them. But going back to the archetypal narrative, the destiny idea of an INTJ is to learn the system and then build a new system that's better. And you'll see this in a lot of media that we're going to bring in. So basically, it's learning the current system and building upon it and building their own system. And I will say this: they're very insecure about the way they come across, the way they're perceived, and they're so insecure to the extent that they would actually love to control the way other people experience them. So they're so insecure that they would actually want to control other people's experiences. Now, I will say this: what better way is there to control other people's experiences than by building the world that those people live in, than by crafting the reality in which we have to live in? I think you can see where I'm going with this. So basically, the first INTJ that I want to bring in is the Buddha. And this is pretty much an INTJ from history. Again, he's very, we know the Buddha, he's a philosopher. He was he built up like a religious movement. But basically the story goes that Buddha was in nobility. He was a prince. He was destined to be a king, or so like his father thought. He had everything handed to him, but then around the time when he was coming of age, I presume maybe around his 20s, his unconscious started, what I perceive as his unconscious, started to nag at him and said, what is the truth? He wants to know the truth. And so what he did was he left his palace and he met 3 people along the road in which he encountered suffering. And then that caused him to basically meditate under a tree for years and build up this new influential system known as Buddhism, in which it basically helped to influence a lot of the world in which people in India, people in China, South Korea, and Japan live in. So basically, he not necessarily, maybe he didn't research the current system, but he created a new system. He created and crafted a new system, and his ideas, as we know, there's the saying that ideas shape the world. His ideas shaped the world of millions, if not billions of people. So that's the first example. The second example I want to bring up is the idea of, not the idea, but going to Star Wars, the INTJ in this show is, in this movie, is Senator Palpatine, also known as Darth Sidious, also known as the Emperor. So basically, in episodes 1, 2, and 3, he's the one pulling all the strings in the Senate. Basically, he can foresee certain things that are going to be discussed in the Senate, in which they'll pretty much help him gain power in the Senate. And then in episode 5 and 6, which he's shown, I'll throw in 4 in there. In episodes 4, 5, and 6, we see this new world of a galactic empire. And at the end of episode 3, we see him and Darth Vader creating the empire. So he's getting power in episodes 1, 2, and 3, and then creating this new galactic empire, this new world, this new system that people live in. And so, again, INTJs are known as the mastermind. And again, they seek, their narrative is to learn the system and then build upon it. Or in this case, create a new system. And I will say this, in Star Wars, in general, the INTJ is known as the philosopher. He is basically a very background-oriented type. He's more of a counselor. He's the one with the ideas, but there is another person known as the person of action, the man of action. And in this case, it's Anakin Skywalker. So Anakin Skywalker is ENTP. The Emperor is INTJ. Right there, you have a golden pair. They are the perfect match for each other. But it's Anakin Skywalker, the ENTP, who goes out and executes the INTJ's ideas. And the INTJ's ideas is, let's create this new galactic empire. And again, it's the Emperor who's in the background. He's not the one, he's the philosopher. He's not the one actually going out and doing stuff, but he's the one that crafts the system in his head and someone else executes it. Same thing with the Buddha. He crafted his own system and his ideas are influential in crafting the world. Same thing with, the Emperor. The third person I would like to bring in it's an anime show called Dr. Stone. And the main character, Senku, is INTJ. And again, remember, Dr. Stone, INTJs are archetypally the scientist, but they're much more than the scientist. So basically, Dr. Stone, the whole premise of Dr. Stone is that this apocalyptic event happens on Earth and it turns everybody into stone. And it's up to Senku to basically save the world. So what he's doing is he's basically saving the world, trying to de-petrify everybody. Everyone's turned to stone, and he's trying to find the cure to de-petrify them. But yeah, he's going out. He's enlisting the help of his allies, his friends, so that they're executing his idea. But he's the one with the idea. He's the mastermind. He's the brain. He's the one with the ideas, pulling all the strings, kind of like the conductor, moving all the parts, all the pieces in the orchestra. But his thing is all about creating this new world, this new kingdom of science. Another character that I want to bring in, and he's not exactly INTJ, but another anime show, Death Note, he is Light Yagami, ENTJ, and solely because his catchphrase is, he wants to be the god of this new world. Again, he wants, generically speaking, he wants to craft this new world, and he wants to be the new god of this new world. And so he's creating a new system in which he's the ruler on top of it. And I will say before I get into the honorable mentions, the last one I want to bring in is, in my belief, in my opinion, God the Father is INTJ. And we're talking from the Bible, God the Father is INTJ, and to God the Father, it's attributed the creation of the world. Because, okay, in the Trinity, not to get too theological, but in the Trinity, there's three people in the Trinity, and there's certain attributes that are, certain characteristics that are attributed to them. And for God the Father, he's the one that creates the world. And so, for an INTJ, this fits because he's creating the world. I also will say that in Catholic theology, God is the one who is pretty much the conductor, the maestro of this grand narrative, how everything in life is oriented towards God's will, towards God's glory, whether that's good or evil, it's oriented towards God's glory. And so it's sort of like we're the canvas and he's holding the paintbrush, or we're characters in a book and he's the one he's the mastermind behind this grand narrative. And at the end of time, we're going to see how everything happens for a reason, how everything moved towards his will and sought to how everything basically sought to glorify him, or how he permitted certain things to happen. Basically, we'll know the reason behind why things happened at the end of time. So again, that's my opinion on God the Father being INTJ. Some honorable mentions that I want to mention are, now I've only seen a few episodes of Naruto, but obviously Sasuke is INTJ. Granted, I haven't seen the show, but from what I read, from what other people said, apparently Sasuke has certain gripes with the system. He eventually comes to resent the system and wants to create a new system. And again, this is fitting for an INTJ. Another INTJ that another show I haven't seen is Code Geass, and it's another anime, and I haven't seen it, but I heard the main character was INTJ, and basically the premise is that they want to create a new world or a new system. I'll leave that to you guys to do your own research. I haven't seen the show, but from that, what I read, it fits this INTJ grand narrative. So basically, INTJ is the mastermind. They are called to create a new world, improve upon the system, or destroy it. And their ideas literally shape the world and shape or influence the experience of our world. Basically, that's the video. Again, I'm Nicholas Pythagoras. If you find this channel interesting, on this channel, we talk about existential philosophy, phenomenology, human consciousness, and basically how the truth manifests itself in the real world. If any of that sounds interesting to you, please consider subscribing, sharing the video with others, and I'd love to hear your comments in the comment section below. So please feel free to share your thoughts. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video, and take care.